Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on some DC stuff, some DC quote-unquote news. So, in the world of news coming out from your legitimate places, like a director or actor themselves, or just a trusted source like, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, all of them. And, I guess we also get some drops on the internet, which are sometimes true and sometimes not true, and that's sort of the focus of this video. Now, you can decide the hit rate, of course, that's not for me to say, but in this video, we are going to go over the latest drop of rumors and, leaks, if you want to put it, regarding some upcoming DC Studios projects, both within Gunn's DC universe and also the Elseworlds projects that just, all the other DC stuff not within that main canon that Gunn's, in control of. Now, these are coming from the DCU leaks Reddit page, so yeah, we have four, I think it's four. Yeah, I think it's four different projects to go over. Some with only a little bit of information, some with a decent amount, and some with some actual legitimate information to attach to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, these, the main stuff is reported as leaks, so regardless of the legitimacy of them, spoiler warning, I guess, because obviously it can contain stuff that's not public, so just keep that in mind. But of course, throughout the video, let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on this stuff. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking, and of course, if you enjoyed the video, want to show your support, drop a like, takes 2 seconds. So the first reported thing is revolving around Superman, or the project formerly known as Superman Legacy. I keep still saying like Superman Legacy to myself, and even when I write it down in notes and stuff like that, just weird that the movie is called Superman now. But anyway, Superman. So the first thing that's coming out here is that Layla Robbins and Lyndon Ashby, those are the two actors that are in talks to play Ma and Pa Kent, or Martha and Jonathan Kent. Now, not too familiar with Layla Robbins. I think Lyndon Ashby is the guy from Mortal Kombat from memory, the old Mortal Kombat movies. I think he was Johnny Cage, but I might be wrong. But anyway, you'll see pictures of them two on screen. This is sort of an interesting one because it just means that obviously, unless it's flashbacks, obviously that's a big thing. But if it's modern day and they're there when Superman's there, of course, that means Jonathan Kent doesn't die, or at least doesn't die before Clark becomes Superman. So that'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye at, and if that's the case. But of course, I don't think Gunn's really ever talked about these characters being in the movie, but there have been casting calls for the characters, or not naming the characters, but characters that fit the description of Ma and Pa Kent. So this lines up with it. But I think if they did anything like this with those actors, this would be like later in the shooting schedule, maybe just because none of the shooting schedule they have at the moment links to like a farm area and everything like that. But yeah, it's a wait and see. And there's one more thing regarding Superman, or Superman Legacy, or formerly Superman Legacy, and this is the thing that's been said here. So the quote is, "I have a source that is friends with production crew for the Superman film, and here are some details. Clark in this film is extremely vulnerable and human in this film. You really want to give this guy a big hug. He struggles internally with his place in the world as a hero, and questions whether he's cut out for the superhero gig. Other superheroes in the community are really fascinating in ideology, in what makes a hero, or what are the confines of what a hero should be. Mr. Terrific suit is gold, probably the best looking, and the engineer is so cool in this film. All I'm going to say for now. Now, I must be honest, I know these are leaks and stuff, so you take it with a grain of salt anyway. English might not have been this guy's first language, which might be the case, because there's a lot of like spelling and grammar errors in here. So if English is not his first language, and fair enough, then you can just sort of take it what it is. But if he should be speaking English properly, then there was a lot of errors in this thing. I had to fix it up myself just so I could read it. So yeah, I don't know about that, but and also, I mean, Gunn had sort of like suggested or sort of talked about Superman briefly in some of the stuff online and stuff like that. And I think even in an interview when he was doing Guardians of the Galaxy press, that's sort of what his Superman would be. He's like still finding his place in the world. He's not too sure of himself and stuff like that. So that's just sort of like mixing up the words and, playing it out in a different way, at least, in writing, and just sort of saying what Gunn had already said. The next thing is revolving around Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And the only thing that's said here is that Nikki Caro, I think that's how you pronounce it, is in talks to direct. Now, Nikki Caro did Mulan. That was her most recent movie. She is a New Zealand or a Kiwi director. I think she was one of the ones that was labeled like, I can't remember what, I think it might have been like Variety or Hollywood Reporter, one of them. And they weren't necessarily saying like, oh, these are the ones that are in talks, but like it seemed like they were always going to go for a female director, and they put some of these, they put like three or four female directors down, and Nikki Caro was one of them. So, I guess she's available. I don't think she has a project lined up. And I mean, you know, she might fit what they want to go with in regards to the style and everything like that. I remember she did Whale Rider as well. I think that might have been one of her first movies and stuff like that, which I remember having to watch that in school because, you know, in Australia and New Zealand, you share a lot of the different films and stuff like that. So I remember watching that a lot in school. But yeah, I think she'd probably be decent fit. The second last thing is revolving around the Nahisi Coates or the J.J. Abrams Superman movie. Now, this is one of those ones where everyone just like, I don't know if this thing is going to happen or not, but this is what's being said. So Abrams, or I guess Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman, was remodeled to be in Matt Reeves' universe. Gunn wants to do something different and have the DCU universe well constructed and have another universe like Earth 2 and then the future make a union. Gunn accepted Warner's idea of a multiverse, but you want to do it right and well constructed without being left out and poorly done. Now, I don't know, because if that's the case, wouldn't you just include it in the same universe and just make sure that it's distinct? Because as soon as you do another Elseworlds thing and it's not on Earth 2, then does that become confusing? So that's the biggest issue with allowing the multiverse stuff, like, or another multiverse universe with, you know, multiple movies from different characters within it, like a Superman, like a Batman, like a God knows what. But then you have another Elseworlds thing based off whatever it might be in live action, and it's not connected to that. Then it becomes confusing to the audience. Like, well, which canon am I watching here when I go to see this movie? It's fine for, you know, me or you watching this that goes in sort of knows already what's going on, but for, you know, Jim and Bob that are walking down the street and decide to go and watch the latest Superman movie and it's not connected or whatever it is, then that becomes confusing. So, I mean, I don't mind the idea of having a universe like that, but make it distinct where that is, there's like two universes and this one gets a movie like once every 3 or 4 years, and then you have your main universe which gets multiple projects per year. So you'd have to make that distinct. I don't know if that would ever happen, but we'll wait and see. And the final thing, which has the most stuff revolving around it, and probably the most spoilery stuff, if you want to put it in regards to potentially spoiling stuff if this is real, is the Batman Part 2 or the Batman 2, whatever they're calling it. Now, this is the thing I was talking about earlier with some real life, like some actual legitimate confirmed information coming out attached to it. And the Batman Part 2 has been delayed an entire year. I think actually over a year now. Oh no, I think it's just under. I think it was delayed 364 days from the release date from next year. So it's coming out like June or July, I think, of 2026. So that's a big delay. Obviously there was rumors that they were meant to be starting filming, you know, fairly soon later this year. Now the rumors, or the reasoning behind that apparently is the writer strike and stuff like that, but also apparently there was some stuff around like they weren't too sure about the story and I think like who they wanted to focus on. That stuff is more like up in the air as to whether it's true or not, but the main reason that's being put out there is the writer strike, which I guess that's the case. But here's what DCU Leaks was saying, or the page on DCU Leaks was saying about the Batman Part 2. So the first thing is the script isn't done yet, which is common knowledge that was sort of out there already before. But plot details have been floating around the DC offices, and I found some out. So this is where sort of spoilery stuff potentially happens. So thy shall be warned. The movie will focus on the trial of the Riddler as he's being prosecuted by the new DA, Harvey Dent, which is funny since we're getting a new Harvey in Joker 2 also. Harvey stays Harvey though, no Two-Face in this movie. The second thing, Hush is the villain. Tommy Elliott runs a charity that's rebuilding Gotham after the flood. Think Lincoln March in the New 52 and Elliott from the comics without the childhood friend stuff. So does that mean they're not doing anything? So they're not, like, Bruce is not going to know Tommy? Is that what they're saying there? I don't know. Anyway, Hush manipulates Clayface, who's going to be introduced in Penguin, so I guess keep your eyes out for Penguin later this year, into working for him, and he takes Bruce's identity later on to mess with his life. Hush is less of a serial killer and he's more of a psychopathic rival vigilante, and the rise of hatred in criminals has risen because of the Riddler. And the final thing is Robin is in the movie, and he and Alfred end up saving Bruce from being killed by Hush near the end of the second act. Now, the Robin thing has been long rumored for this movie, that they're going to do Robin. Most likely you'd think Dick Grayson, so that's not too much of a surprise to be included there. Hush had been rumored, even Clayface had been rumored, and Harvey Dent had been rumored. So it's a lot of different rumors that have already been out there previously mashed into this thing here. Now, as we know, the script isn't done yet, so we don't know exactly, like, this is where maybe things are changing. Maybe they went with Hush and they got 2/3 into the movie and went, hold on, I don't know if this is going to work for the entire thing, or it's taking out elements and stuff like that. I think this is the big thing with the Batman movie, is that, you know, a lot of people liked the first one because it was sort of like, it was still like grounded in some sort of realism like the Nolan movies, but it had that more detective aspect and went very comic comic-y with the Batman detective side of things. So that's where people really, really appreciated it. So when you go into the second one and maybe you involve characters like Clayface and everything like that, and maybe some even more like overly comic-y things, will it work? I think it is. And if the Clayface is in the Penguin, then I think that gives us a bit more of a general idea of maybe the feel of the Batman 2 and how that would work and stuff like that. And even just, I guess, with the whole Hush thing with him looking like Bruce and everything like that, like maybe that could be a bit over the top and maybe they want to change that a bit. But I think, I don't know if people are necessarily like overly attached to like the whole like Hush looking like Bruce thing. I don't know if they're overly attached to that. I'm not too sure. You'd have to let me know. But everything here sounds like it would work. It just, I guess you have to just watch it on screen and see how it comes together. Arguably, the biggest risk could be Robin. That's arguably maybe the biggest risk around it, is including Robin in this movie. But then again, it might be like a minor player, and then the third Batman is where Robin really comes out to shine. But once again, wait and see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it, show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on everything we're going over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.